Hello and welcome to Percentages with me, Bill Haining. The aim of today's session is to deliver learning that will provide the required knowledge to support learners in completing the Level 1 and Level 2 Maths exam. So the objectives are: read and order percentages, find the percentage of a value which includes percentage increase and decrease, express one amount as a percentage of another, percentage change, and reverse percentages. And that's how to find out the original value. Let's look at read and order percentages. The word percent just means out of 100 and is denoted by the percentage sign. For example, 40% just means 40%, which is 40 out of 100. Now, percentages are just like whole numbers, okay? And we're used to working with whole numbers from small to large, and that's positive numbers. And percentages are no different. The bigger the number, the bigger the percentage. Okay, and so you can see here, okay, that 18% just means 18 out of 100, 4% just means 4 out of 100, 39 out of 100, and so forth. All right, then all you simply do is you order from large to small, and you can see there that 150% is the biggest, 83% is the next, and then we proceed down the line till we get to the smallest value. And that's how you read and order percentages. It's fairly straightforward. Okay, now you can try it. Pause the video and see if you get the correct answer. So of the 5 different banks, which offers the highest interest rate? So how did you do? Which of the banks offers the biggest rate? The answer is Bank E. Now moving on to the second one, which of the following range from small to large? Is it A, B, C, or D? Again, pause the video, see how you got on. So how did you do? Well, if you selected B, well done. Okay, let's find the percentage of a value, which includes percentage increase and percentage decrease. And we're going to do this part without a calculator. This is what is known as chunking. So let's pick a number, any number. All right, let's take 240. So what is 50% of 240? Well, it's 120. What's 25%? Well, that's half of 120, which is 60. What is 10%? 10% is easy to calculate. We just take the decimal point, move it one place to the left, and you can see there that 10% is 24. Okay, to find 5%, it's half of 10%, which in this case is 12. All right, and to find 1%, we just move the decimal point one place further, and you can see there that 1% is 2.4. Now at this point, you notice the numbers don't change. It's just the same. Okay. Now, what if we want to find out what 36% of 240 is? Well, this is where the chunking comes in. You just select the percentages that you need. You just select the percentage you need to make up the value. Okay, so let's see how you do that. So if you take 25%, you know that has a value of 60. You take 10%, that's a value of 24. And you take 1%, which is a value of 2.4. And if you add up your percentages, you can see you've got 36% using the chunks you require. And you add up the right-hand column, and you can see there the 86.4 is 36% of 240. Okay, so now you try it. Dennis takes a loan out to buy a car. He borrows £4,000. He will pay 5% interest on the loan. Calculate £4,000 plus 5%. Pause the video, have a go. So how did you do? Well, 10% of 4,000 is 400. Quick and easy. Half of that is 200, so 5% must be 200. You just add that to your initial investment of £4,000, and you can see the answer is 4,200. So if you got 4,200, well done. Now Dennis looks to buy a car. There are 396 cars advertised. 25% of them are diesel. What is 25% of 396? Pause the video, see how you got on. So how did you do? Well, 50% of 396 is 198. So that means that 25% must be 99. So if you got the answer, 99 cars, excellent, well done. Let's have a look at the same sort of a problem, but this time with a calculator. Okay, so we want to find the percentage of a value which includes percentage increase and decrease with the calculator allowed. Now you can see from the placard being held up there, the key to this is to find the value of 1%. And you do that simply by dividing by 100. Okay, so let's have a look. Like before, take the number 240 and find 36%. This time using a calculator. Couldn't be simpler. You divide the 240 by 100 to find 1%. And if you remember from your chunking, 1% had a value of 2.4. So you can see it confirms that chunking works. So 240 divided by 100 is 2.4. Then you now take that 1% and you multiply it by 36 to find out what 36% is. All right, and it's very common in maths. If you understand the value of one thing, you can calculate anything. So in this case, the 1 has a value of 2.4, so you multiply it by 36. Okay, and that gives you 86.4. So 86.4 is 36% of 240. And that's how you do it with a calculator. Find the value of 1%. Moving on, let's find the percentage of a value which includes an increase and decrease. And this is the calculator allowed. So use the same method when increasing or decreasing in percentages. So here's an example. Ian is making purchases online. The total before the VAT is £822.95. He needs to pay VAT too, which is 20% of the total. Now work out how much his total purchase is. Okay, and to do this, you just divide by 100 and you find the value of 1%. And you can see that's 8.295. All right, you take that and multiply it by 20. You can see that the 20 is £164.59. You then simply add it to your starting value. Okay, and you can see there it's £987.54. So you just add it to your starting value. Now Joe wants to buy a bag which normally costs £62. The bag is now on sale for 25% off. Work out 25% off 62. Again, same as before, 62 divided by 100 gets the value of 1%, which is 0.62. We want to find the value of 25%, so we multiply it by 25. That gives you £15.50. You then take that £15.50 off the original £62, and that tells you that the new value of the bag at the sale price is £46.50. Okay, so now you try it. Give the value of 720 after a 60% increase. Pause the video, see how you do. If you got the answer 1152, well done. Give the value of 5260 after a 35% decrease. Again, pause the video. How did you do? If you got 3,419, well done. And finally, the value of a car worth £55,000 decreases by 7.5% every year. How much will it be worth after next year? Pause the video, see how you got on. If you got £50,875, well done. Now let's express one amount as a percentage of another. Now this is very important. This comes up quite often with graphs and charts and tables and is included in the Big Six. So it's important to learn how to do this. Right, here's an example. A cinema screen has 150 seats. 81 of the seats have been taken. And it says there what percentage of the seats have been taken. Now they give you the numbers in the question, so it's just simply taking 81, dividing it by the bigger number, 150. And because we're working in percentages, to convert that to a percentage, you just multiply by 100. So you can see there, you take the 81, you divide it by 150. To convert it to a percentage, you multiply by 100, and that tells you that 81 is 54% of 150. Now let's look at a table. Okay. Now below is a breakdown of students' exam scores presented in a group table. There's a group table. On the left hand side you have the group, and the right hand side you have the frequency column, which is the student numbers. What percentage of students scored between 31 and 45? Okay, so this is the group here between 31 and 45. We want to work out this 48 as a percentage of the overall total. So the first thing we have to do is add the total number of students. So as you can see there, there's 92 students in total. Okay, then you select the value of the 31 to 45 group, and you can see there is 48. Okay, you divide by the total number of students. So 48 divided by 92. We now need to convert this to a percentage. So we just simply multiply by 100. So multiply by 100, and that tells you that 48 is 52.2% of 92. Okay, now you try it. Matt scored 87 out of 150 in exam. What is the score as a percentage? Pause the video, see how you got on. So how did you do? Alright, there you go. If you got 58%, well done. For every 50 students at Hightown School, 29 are girls. Work out 29 as a percentage of 50. Pause the video. How did you do? Well, again, if you got 58%, well done. Now here's a more difficult question for you. Okay, again, pause the video, read the question, and see if you can come up with an answer. How did you do? Did they achieve their target of 65%? Well, we add up the total frequency column, which is 200. We work out the number of students at grade 4 and above, which is 140. And like the table before, we take 140, we divide it by 200, and to convert it to a percentage, we multiply by 100, and you can see grade 4 and above achieved 70%. So yes, the school has beat its own target by 5%. And if you got that answer, 70%, well done. Now let's look at percentage change. You may be given the original amount and the value after a percentage increase or decrease, and you will need to find out what percentage the change was. Okay, so there's the formula for it. It's just to change the difference between the two. You divide that by the starting value, and again, to convert it to a percentage, you multiply by 100. Alright, so calculate percentage change of the value of a boat when it goes down from 8,000 to 6,000. So firstly, calculate the difference, which is 2,000. You take the 2,000, divide it by the original value, okay, and you can see there that the original value is 8,000. And to convert this to a percentage, you just simply multiply it by 100, and you can see there, because you're losing £2,000, it's a 25% decrease. Now let's look at that the other way. Okay, we'll use the same formula when there's an increase. Imagine the value of the boat goes up from 8,000 to 10,000. Again, you can see that there is a £2,000 increase in value. Alright, and you divide it by your start value. Okay, and then once you've done that, you convert it to a percentage by multiplying by 100, and you can see that this time, because you're making money on the boat, it is a 25% increase. Alright, so now you try it. Let's have a look. So Carol's salary has increased from 22,600 to 23,278. By what percentage has her salary increased? Pause the video, see how you do. So how did you do? There you go. You can see the difference from the old value to the new value is £678. You take that 678, divide it by the start value, convert it to a percentage by multiplying by 100, and you can see the value is a 3% increase. Okay, let's try another one. Peter's weight decreases from 80 kilograms to 64. Calculate the percentage decrease in Peter's weight. Pause the video, see how you got on. So how did you do? There you go. 80 minus 64 is 16, which is the difference. Okay, you take that 16, divide it by the original value, and then multiply it by 100, and you can see it's a 20% decrease. Now let's look at reverse percentages. With reverse percentage, you must work backwards to find the original value. Now let's look at a typical reverse calculation. Okay, now if we take 36 and add 10, that gives you 46. Very straightforward. And if we work backwards, right, 46 minus 10 is 36. And you can see by checking that, you can see that both calculations are correct. So that tells you the calculation is correct. And that's a normal reverse calculation. Now let's look at a reverse percentage calculation. All right, so we take 36 and we add 10%, and you can see it's 39.6%. Now let's do it backwards. 39.6 minus 10%, and you can see that both answers are different. So the calculation is incorrect. And why is that? Well, both values are different, and therefore 10% of both is different. So 10% of 36 is different from 10% of 39.6. So they're not going to match. So we have to use a different system to find out if our calculation is correct. Okay, let's look at it this way, right? Let's take the 36%, which is 100%. That's your starting value. Your starting value is always 100%. So we add 10% to that. You can see it gives us 39.6%. So therefore, 39.6 is 110%. So that is a value of 110%, including the original value. Right, so the first thing you do is you find the value of 1% by dividing by 110. So you take this £39, or 39.6, and you divide it by 111, and that will get you back to your 1%. And that's important. All right, so 39.6 divided by 110 gives you a percentage, 1% value of 0.36. You then multiply that by 100 to get back to your original value, because remember, the original value is 36, and it's always 100%. So to get back, you just multiply by 100, and you can see there that 0.36 times 100 gets you back to 36, and you can see that that is a correct calculation. In functional skills maths, it's quite often they will ask you to work out a reverse percentage, but they won't give you the starting value. So how do we solve that if we don't know the original value? Well, we solve that by using the information we do know. All right. So for example, Jacob buys a watch costing £84. This cost includes VAT at a rate of 20%. Okay, how much is the watch without the VAT? Now let's use the information we do know. We know the starting value, whatever that is 100%. And we added 20%, which equals 120%. Okay, and the cost of that £84 is 120%. So we simply take the 84, we divide it by 120, and to convert it to a percentage or a value, we multiply by 100. Okay, and that gets us back to the original value of 70. So the watch without the VAT is £70. Now the same formula applies when there is a decrease in value. no different. Let's have a look at another example. Okay, a lamp is on sale at £22.05. This is a 10% reduction of the normal price. So what was the price of the lamp before the reduction? Again, we don't know the starting value, but we do know it's got 10% off this time. And so the new value of the lamp is 90% of the total value. So what we do is we take that £22.05, we divide it by a 90, all right, and that gives you the value of 1%. You then multiply that by 100, and that gives you £24.50. So the original price of the lamp was £24.50. Okay, so now you try it. Lauren is given a 12% pay rise. Her new salary is £24,080. What was Lauren's salary before the pay rise? Pause the video, see how you got on. There you go. Starting value, which you don't know, is 100%, plus the 12% she got in the pay rise. That gives you a value of 112%. So you take that £24,000.80, divide it by 112, which will give you the value of 1%. You multiply it by 100, and you can see her starting salary was £21,500. Okay, so a limited edition bag of flour contains 25% more than the standard bag. The limited edition bag contains 650 grams of flour. How much flour is in the standard bag? Pause the video, see how you got on. So how did you do? Let's have a look. You can see you don't know the value of the standard bag, but you know there was 25% added, which means the value of the 650 grams of flour was 125%. So you take that 650, divide it by 125, that gives you 1%. You then take that 1% and you multiply it by 100 to convert it to a value, all right, which is 520 grams. Okay, so the limited edition of the standard bag was 520 grams, and if you got 520 grams, well done. Right, you can have a go at this one. Rosie sold her house for £180,000. The price of the house depreciated by 6.25 since Rosie originally bought it. Work out how much Rosie's originally paid for the house. Pause the video, see if you can get it. So how did you do? All right, we don't know the starting value, but we know it lost 6.25%, which means the new value of the house is 93.75. So we take the 880,000, okay, we divide it by 93.75, which gives you the value of 1%. We multiply that by 100 to get back to the starting value, and you can see Rosie's house was worth £192,000 before she lost the 6.25%. So if you got £192,000, exceptionally well done. It's percentages. I hope that helped, so thank you very much.